Today, I've got the support of my two dogs, Dream here, and my other buddy, Chaucer, and the subject is poop. You know, back in the 50s and the 60s, most of us had mutts. And you opened the back door and you let the mutt go out, and he was gone most of the day, and then he came back at the end of the day and you fed him. But that was the 50s. That was the 50s and the 60s. And they did whatever they wanted. Times have changed. We live in a more complicated society. We've got feelings about things. And one of the things that I find really upsetting is the fact that people take their dog to the beach. They take their dog on the bike path. They walk their dog through neighborhoods, up and down sidewalks, along people's lawns, and they don't pick up. I'm not saying all, certainly most do pick up, but the biggest offenders make the rest of us have a hard time. You know, I think a lot of the restrictions that are on beaches are because of these people that have absolutely no consideration whatsoever for anyone else but themselves. It is absolutely imperative that every time your dog goes, you pick up after him. It's not a big deal to carry around these plastic containers. You get them at the pet store, they pop right out, and you pick up. It's not that big a deal, but it is absolutely essential, and it's important. And I don't understand what goes through a person's mind when they let their dog poop and then they don't pick up. I don't know what people think about. It is unsanitary. Nobody wants to walk in it. Nobody wants to walk the dogs in it. It's not good for the dogs to be smelling fecal matter. Whether you think so or not, it's not, because you can spread disease that way. You come home, I don't know how many people sleep with their dogs, but my two babies are right in bed with me. I sure as heck don't want to have some kind of contamination in my bed. Then there's the neighborhoods. You walk your dog down the street, you let him poop on the sidewalk, and then just keep on going. Where is the mental process there? It's just bizarre to me that people think that way. So I hope that somebody will call in and talk about this issue, because it is a very serious issue. I brought my doggies in to add a little flavor to the conversation here. I got my Chaucer. I got him 8 years ago when he was a pup. These are Whippets, by the way. So many people think that they're Greyhounds. These are Whippets. And I got Chaucer, the white one, when he was 8 years old as a pup. And I got Dream when she was a year old. Oh, we got a call. Great.
I think this fellow is a little out of his mind. He should be looking at the ocean and not sniffing for dog doos.
Ma'am, we're getting way off the subject. This is contamination, and I absolutely 100% disagree with you, but I do appreciate your call. Thank you so much. And it looks like we got another caller. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I completely agree with you. And in fact, I carry extra bags, and if I see someone with a dog pooping and they're not picking it up, I very sweetly say, I have an extra bag. Wouldn't you like to take care of that? No,
I
absolutely.
have to tell you,
and you know,
if you are that polite, you got one over me, because I almost want to say, come on, go get a bag and pick it up. I'm going to let these two kind of run around a little bit because they're getting kind of frisky. All right, you can run around. Go ahead. I got another call, so that's great. Hello?
And I also very much appreciate and really appreciate what you're just saying on your program.
I've gone out to the beaches out on the National Seashore out in Wellfleet and Eastham, which I love. But I've been there a number of times, and those are absolutely the most pristine beaches I have ever seen anywhere I have ever been. And I've traveled a fairly good amount all over the world. But those beaches out there are absolutely beautiful, and I love to see my dogs run along those beaches. They just have the greatest time. But I got to tell you, I carry these bags with me. You pop it out. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. And for someone to say, oh, you don't want to use these bags, well, is it better to have it laying on the ground to step on? All you do, you pop the bag out, you pick up the poop, reclose the bag, you're all set to go. I mean, it does belong to you and your dog. It doesn't belong to the rest of the population. This show is for you. Sure, it's my show, but it's for the Falmouth community. Yeah. These are the greatest dogs, by the way. They, Whippets, don't shed generally. Chaucer sheds much more than I ever anticipated, but they generally don't shed. They don't bark. They can bark, and they do sometimes, but rarely. They rarely bark. They love the exercise, so getting them out to run, and this one here is just a champion when it comes to running. Oh, I mean, to watch her run is absolutely unbelievable. And she is amazing. Chaucer, not so much. He was never a runner. He was, however, he loved Frisbees. And I had to stop throwing the Frisbee for him because he would jump up, and that's not good for these particular dogs because their legs are somewhat fragile, not too fragile, but somewhat fragile, and every once in a while he'll kind of hurt himself. I understand the mentality of people, and quite frankly, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, I think that people that don't pick up after their dogs are pigs. I'm really serious about that because they have absolutely no consideration whatsoever for anyone else. And that's another thing. People say, well, I wasn't paying attention to my dog. Well, that's your responsibility. It's your dog. It's not someone else's. Dog owner is responsible for their own dogs. It is the responsibility of the dog owner to make sure that their dog is controlled, whether it's on a leash or whether it's voice controlled. That is the responsibility of the dog owner. And it is the absolute responsibility of the dog owner to pick up every single time after their dog because no one else should have to put up with that.